Hi, how are you? This is a continuation of the Dollar Tree cage decor series. We are going to be making a net using fleece baby blankets. For today's project, you will need 4 fleece blankets. You can also use these, but you want the smooth fleece, not the soft fluffy kind, as these are a danger to toes and tails. You can find most of these on the baby aisle, but there are some on the plus aisle. You could also use t-shirts from the plus aisle if you wished. You will also need a pair of scissors. Before we start cutting, you need to determine which direction your blankets stretch the most. You do this by tugging on opposing ends of the blanket. Many fleece blankets will stretch horizontally and vertically, but it will stretch more in one direction than the other. If you skip this step, you risk your strips of fabric braiding at different lengths due to them stretching at different amounts. Lay your blankets out so the stretch all goes the same direction. Cut your blankets into 2-inch wide strips. Take about 6 of these strips and cut them into 6-inch long pieces. Now separate into groups of 3 and knot one end. Braid in a 3-strand braid and then knot the other end. Lay the braids out in a box shape. This will form the outside of your net. Push the knots from one of the sides through the plates of the other to make your box. With your small strips, stretch them from one end and then tie around the area you just put the knot through to secure. To find the center of a braid, bring your knots together and fold the braid in half. The middle will be where the fold is. This is where you will insert the knot for your cross sections. Use your small strips the same as before, securing the braids in place. Repeat finding the center for the horizontal sides and inserting the next braid and tying it to secure. Repeat this process for your vertical centerpiece also. Now to do cross sections. You're going to also find their centers. Fold from the edge of the braid to the braid closest to it. This center is where you do your next knot. Tie in place. Then just like we did for our horizontal and vertical lines, we're going to repeat this process all the way down. Adjust your braids as you need to before tying. This process will help keep the braids evenly spaced as you make your net. This net can be made larger if you bought fleece by the yard, or smaller by making your perimeter smaller. You can also make the braids thinner by cutting your starting strips thinner. You can make the spaces between the braids larger for adults or smaller for babies. In this way, you can easily make a net that fits the exact cage you have, your rat's needs, and even the color scheme of your cage setup. You can make your net just horizontal and vertical sections, or you can add some cross sections like I have done if you wish. When you are finished, trim off any ends from the little tied pieces and check the ends of the braids for those finishing threads that border the blankets. Cut those ends off too. This net is fully able to be washed and dried by machine as well. Though it might be a bit noisy banging around, it won't be nearly as noisy as cotton ropes, and it won't shed like the nets made for birds. For hanging, I personally use plastic shower rings, zip ties, pipe cleaners, lanyard clips, or bird C-clips. You can use any of these options that work best for your rats. If you need ideas for how to hang things in your rat cage, check out my Rigging Your Rat Cage video. My net came out like this. And now you can make nets for your cage. Thanks for watching. Bye!